Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. So
which
well,
which is it's like a kind of like a taste of the old days, because the old days it was around that amount. It was like maybe 5 or 6 matches on the card when there was a brand split. You
hmm
had like each show was like dedicated to one brand, but in this case you had both brands, but like it wasn't oversaturated with like a whole bunch of matches, So it had that old feel of a old school pay per view, where it's just like every match meant something, and it wasn't just a throw in, So it felt good, like an old traditional pay per view match. I gave it a solid A. My honest opinion. The crowd definitely played a major part in that, because, like, man, that's probably the best crowd I've seen in a long time. Like, honestly, it was better. It was honestly better than the Philly crowd. Be real with
oh yeah,
you. Yeah. So, but I think that's just a common theme amongst like any overseas fans, excluding Saudi Arabia. But like, um, anytime they go
we
to the
don't
UK,
mention.
anytime they go to the UK or anywhere else like Europe, like it basically, like, the fans are just riled up. Like they love wrestling, arguably more than any other country, in my opinion. I feel like they really just turn up for anything WWE or AEW or TNA related. So yeah, it's hardcore fans out there. So I love to see it, to see them like singing the theme songs to most of the superstars that came out. When they were singing Orton's theme, man, that felt like it was like straight up goosebumps, man, for real.
Yeah, gave me chills for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that was the first time I ever heard someone sing Orton's theme like the whole time through.
Yeah,
Chills.
the whole song.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I thought the crowd unbelievable. Just even not only just singing the songs. I mean, they literally had the camera shaking when they were doing introductions. And first off, hats off to Samantha Irving for letting the crowd get their chance in before she announced everything. I thought that was really pro of her to do that. And that's just having awareness of the situation. The one complaint I would have about Backlash was during the women's tag team match, the confusion of who was actually legal between
Oh
Kairi
yeah,
Sane and Asuka.
yeah, they
That
blasted.
kind of that threw me off for that match. I thought everything was going pretty solid until then, and even with all that happening, and I thought everyone did a good job with the moves that they did, and obviously the result was the right call, getting Jade and Bianca the belts. Um, that just kind of put a sour taste in my mouth for just that match. But if you think about the other matches, they were, if it wasn't the result you wanted, it's the bigger picture storytelling that I noticed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I was going to be honest, even though I was rooting for Randy and Kevin Owens to win, I'm thinking, well, how are you gonna do the bloodline if they lose this match? Like
hmm
that was what I was thinking. I was like, as much as I would love for them to win, it just doesn't make sense long term for them to win that match. And then thankfully they got the interference to win it. Bailey pinning Naomi was the right call, because then Tiffany doesn't lose any of her momentum, and it
And
still
boy, does
looks
she
like,
have momentum.
oh, she's
Oh
got a
yeah,
lot.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah.
And then Priest
Hey,
beating Jay. Oh, go
yo,
ahead.
goodness gracious, wise man, stop stepping over the lead. Okay, you talk one. Okay, so
Now,
and snap.
go
All
off,
right,
wise
so
man.
we just his heel turn is real. Okay, let's take it a step at a time. I want to step back here. First and foremost, first thing you talked about, bloodline, Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus the bloodline. Perfect moment. Like I said, that the way they started this pay-per-view was sheer chaos, and I loved it. I loved every moment about them starting everything off with like, no, like these guys really don't like each other. Like there should not be a moment, and so many times in Vince McMahon's booking, like these people did dastardly things to each other, and they would just walk out to the ring like, oh, everything's all hunky dory. We're gonna wait. We're gonna do our entrances and all this stuff like that. But like for these guys, like as soon as they saw each other, like, nah, we finna get them on. Like Like that's real life. Like Fritos, if you run over my kid, like we got to fight next time I see you, and it's not gonna be I'm gonna wait and look at one side of the crowd and look at the other side of the crowd. Like no, it's like no, it's right to it. We got to get them on.
Why would you use that as an example?